I got infinity money. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm not the one on phone. How does it feel?
Yeah. You know what? I want to just start off by saying congratulations. I was completely wrong. Last night, I was in the PSF app, talking shit in the Lakers chat, just trying to stir the pot, right? Because like my friends are there. We got Alex in there, we got Earl in there, we got a bunch of cool people in there. So I like to fuck with people, right? So I was in the Lakers chat, just trying to stir the pot. But damn, because the first half of the game, unfortunately, I wasn't able to see because the game started at 8:30, and then I was home by 9 o'clock, so I was like, I didn't even get a chance to see part of the game. So then when I got to the billiards place, the score was like, I think it was from 90-95. At that point, the score was 90-95. I was like, okay, Indiana could still make a comeback, because personally, I like the fact that a franchise like have they won the championship before? Before I misspeak?
Maybe in the ABA, but not in the NBA.
Okay.
Don't even think in the ABA, though.
Okay. So in NBA history, the Pacers, we're just going to go off of this. The Pacers haven't won anything in NBA history like that. So I wanted to see at least that happen just for the sake of the Pacers organization, just to like put them a little bit more on the map, because I feel like this definitely did put them more on the map too. Don't get me wrong. Because if it wasn't for Tyrese Halliburton averaging around 32 points a game, shit, where would they be? It would probably be fucking Milwaukee right now if it wasn't for Tyrese Halliburton. But I do gotta give the Lakers props. LeBron James played like a 23-year-old man. AD looked like prime. Man, it was insane. It was an insane atmosphere. And welcome to the Beyond the Backboard Podcast, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, we started. That was our intro.
Yeah. Championship hotline.
Championship hotline.
Not really a real championship. We'll count for like 0.000001. So we'll take it.
I think LeBron.
Sam's Leopard is half a championship, so you take
you know what? I would constitute it as half a championship. Personally.
I wouldn't even consider it half. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Why?
It's not even half of the season.
It does only take 1 month or so, yeah. I mean,
honestly,
this constituted as like a feather in the cap and a pat on the back and like a little bit of pocket change. Like when you say, "Hey, it's
bro,
like
pocket change is crazy considering they get 500K. We would die for 500K.
But you know what I consider this? Like, you remember when we were in high school and stuff?
Yeah.
You got your like midterm grade, like your grades in the middle of your whatever semester or whatever.
Yo. I just gotta throw this reference out real quick. Yeah, bro. Me and you were in high school. My name is Todo Aoi. Do you not get the reference?
I don't get it.
No, you don't.
They get it.
Earl gets the reference because JJK. As soon as Todo meets Yuji, he's like, "Yo, we've been best friends just because you like the same girl as I do."
Yeah,
and then he imagines this whole monologue with him back in the day with Yuji, and it's all just made up. So yeah, bro, I remember seeing your grades and stuff. Like, they sucked.
Yeah, bro, it was very mental. I'll use the Yeah, I do know what you're talking about. I just couldn't remember it. But yeah. In his own fantasy world.
I don't get it.
Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
This is turning into the Wano Bros podcast.
Nah.
Look, I'll say this. Last night, we seen closer to the best version of Lakers. Defense was there.
100%.
Locked in towards the end of that game.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Davis, what more can I say? 41 points, 20 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 blocks. Shooting 66% from the field. Yes, I know this by heart. I am a Lakers fan. Austin Reeves had 28 points. I think he missed like 3 shots total.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact, before the game, he actually was really sick. So that was his fluke. Shout out to Reeves for playing through it. He said, I quote, if I didn't play, my mom would probably strangle me. So he went out there and played the game. His mom is a big basketball head. She used to play in college. So they have a zero nonsense for missing basketball games. So, and then you talk about Bron. He's just been consistent the whole tournament. So shout out to Bron for doing this thing. And it was a good stepping stone for things to come. This was just a sneak peek of what people can expect in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what you said, Earl, about this being close to the best version of the Lakers was spot on. watching the fourth quarter of that game, it reminded me a lot of the 2020 Lakers and
Yeah.
how I think this team, as long as LeBron and AD are the nucleus of this team, the team will always be best and they will be at their very peak when Anthony Davis is the main guy and he is dominating on both ends of the floor. And LeBron can just, I don't want to say sit back because that implies he does nothing. Like he still had 24, 11, and 5 or something, or 4 assists.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say do nothing, but when LeBron doesn't have to carry on both ends of the floor and he can just focus on the nuance of the game and just pick his spots, that is when this team will always be at their best. Because when Davis is dominating both ends of the floor, there are essentially no players in the NBA who is better than him. I mean, he absolutely owned that fourth quarter in every possible way. I mean, with his rim protection, his rebounding, pick and rolls, stepping out into the post, drawing double teams, passing out of it, getting to the free throw line. He just made everyone's life so much easier. And you could just see, LeBron didn't have to have the ball in his hands every possession. He didn't have to, crash the glass super hard. That's obviously going to be good for his longevity, and that's just good for the Lakers' on-court product. Because, as much as we love LeBron at age 39, it's very tough for him to just truly take over a game and dominate it the way that AD did right now and the way that he did in the 2020 finals. Again, I will stand by the fact that I think Anthony Davis deserved the 2020 finals MVP. I'll stand by the fact that I think he very well could have deserved this tournament MVP. I don't know if they counted for the whole tournament or just this one game. I think he probably deserved it based on this one game alone, but LeBron won it again, so who cares? It was always going to go to LeBron. No one's ever going to not vote LeBron for a finals MVP type thing. So I thought the Lakers, like you said, they played really well overall. The defense was there. Reeves, completely justifying Darvin Ham's decision to bring him off the bench. That looks like a really good coaching decision. Cam Reddish looked great. This is the Cam Reddish that Knicks fans wanted but never really got. So shout out to him. I didn't think he would do well in the Lakers, but clearly LeBron has gotten to him and he is playing a great role. We saw just, the Lakers as a unit just look really good. I couldn't tell you, if Darvin Ham made good coaching decisions or not. Only Earl can tell you that. But like you said, this reminded me a lot of the 2020 Lakers, where it's just Davis dominating, LeBron just kind of being, the Joker to his Batman in a good way. In a good way. That's when, at this point in his career, that's when Bron's at his best, and the supporting cast all stepped up and was locked in. So good for the Lakers. Played a really good game. If they play like this in the playoffs, they're going to be really tough to beat. And it's now very funny that the Lakers have 2 Mickey Mouse championships. LeBron can only win in LeBron can only win in actual arenas.
You know what?
Disney World and Las Vegas.
That really pisses me off, right? As an NBA fan, when LeBron James won his championship in 2020 in the bubble, I really hated that. I really hated the fact that people were hating on it and calling it I understand why people were calling it a Mickey Mouse ring. I understand why, right? But a championship is a championship at that point, and he still beat the best team at that time. So I don't think any other team in that bubble could have beat the Miami Heat anyway, right? Even if we were outside of the bubble, I don't think anybody at that point in the Eastern Conference could have beaten Miami anyway. So I feel like the finals in or out of the bubble could have been the Lakers versus the Heat. But I want to pull. Go for it. I'm sorry.
I'll be the first to say it's a dumb narrative.
It's a dumb narrative.
LeBron has 4 rings. He has the in season. It's a stupid. Yes. I'll be the first to say anyone who tries to take away rings from people is just it's an idiotic.
It's an idiotic. Yes, it's so bad, and it just beams hatred for him for absolutely no reason. But
the thing that
go for it.
It's just the fact that they act like we were like the AC. That year in the NBA, we were the 3rd seed in the NBA. It's not like things were going to be so drastically different if the regular season was there. If anything, us playing in Staples Center then would have been more electric. Our guys probably would have got it done. Well, I still think it would have went 5, but still, it still would have been filled with so much energy. It's hard to not only play, but win games, home games at Staples Center. So I honestly thought the quality of games would have been better if we just continued the regular season. So for people to kind of just discredit us and all these people come out and say it didn't mean anything, absolutely ridiculous. We had all these reports saying it was mentally the toughest time they had to be there. They were by themselves for hours and hours out the day. It's just crazy how they tried to discredit it, man.
Yeah, definitely insane. So I wanted to ask you guys now, after the in-season tournament is over, and now that everything is wrapped up, and now that we can carry on to the following season, what did you guys think of our first in-season tournament?
I begrudgingly liked it. And
Begrudgingly? Why begrudgingly?
Because I wanted to be right, and I wanted this, like, a small part of me wanted this to just blow up in Adam Silver's face and be absolutely meaningless and become, like, the biggest meme and just, like, absolutely expose how bad of an idea this was. But, like, it went really well. Admittedly, the league got exactly what they wanted out of it. I'm sure it was a
competition. I said it. The first thing when I saw this, I was like, bro, the competition will be insane.
I really wanted Omar to be wrong. I mean, Omar's wrong about most things, so I'll give you this.
Wow.
You
don't have to do me like that.
You got one.
You don't have to do me like that,
I'll give you this
man.
one. You can hold this W. I'll hold the L on this one.
I'll
give
take
the man
it.
his credit.
You know what makes a W? 2 L's.
Yep. Earl and I took fat L's with this one. We both called this to be an absolute flop, and it wasn't.
Yeah, I heard Earl last night saying that on the Lakers chat too. I heard him say like, "Yo, I gotta say, man, the in-season tournament." No, the competition is absolutely insane, and it was clear that the NBA just wanted an incentive for the fans to just dive into the NBA, and I feel like that's what it brought, because I feel like if you just followed the in-season tournament, it was a lot easier to follow than let's say the normal playoffs, because instead of playing 7 games max, you're playing 1 elimination game and you're gonna go boom, 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 so quick.
I still think the group play needs to be much easier, and if you want ease for casuals, they gotta fix the group play. It's confusing.
I gotta disagree with that. So group play, you essentially play with everybody. You essentially play with everybody from different groups. It's a little messy here and there. Yes, they got to clean it.
It's very messy.
They got to clean it up on that end.
It works because we're NBA fans, but like the casual is not going to understand how it works. They got to go off like point differential and like group.
Yeah, I see. That's the one thing.
Wild card, and it's like they got to clean this up a little bit.
Yeah,
and it's like even we as NBA fans, we don't even know how it when we were still having conversations about like, wait, who gets like the final spot, or like do these games count for the regular season or not? Like we didn't even know how it worked as it was going on.
I think they did.
Only imagine as like a casual how bad it would be. So they need to fix that up. But like they've got a good idea here. I think they definitely need to make it so that any invitational games played, anything past the group stage, does not count for your regular season record. Because the Knicks got handed 2 L's basically by being a wild card team. We got the privilege of playing the 2 best teams in the East and losing to both of them. So they got to fix that, first of all. That's stupid as hell.
Yeah, bro, we got stomped on.
I just think if they clean up the group play, make it a little easier to understand, and then maybe you can squeeze all 8 games into Vegas. Although, I don't know, because the Vegas game...
Nah, I don't like that. Final Four is fine. Final Four is fine.
Final Four is fine.
I can't relate. Actually lose a game, so... No problem on this side.
See, the one thing that I disagree with the in-season tournament is that point differential. That does, and that does actually disrespect the game. Like the NBA players are 100% right about the point differential. Definitely, like, bro, we saw it in the middle of the season. Like, we saw it in the middle of the season between I don't want to misspeak. It was Chicago and Boston, right?
Yes.
Billy Donovan and Joe Mazzulla. So when Joe Mazzulla had to literally come up to Billy Donovan and explain, like, yo, we need to like score another 20 points in the next three minutes. Like that's what they essentially needed to do, and they found out in the middle of the game. So that within itself is a flawed fucking shit, and that you find out in the middle of the game. That's they did that with soccer. They did that with European football because of how low the scores are. Quite literally, some scores will be 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 2 to this, 2 to that. Like it's not a heavy point differential. So when you're going into soccer or European football and you see the way that it's outlined and you see the NBA kind of copying from it, they have to understand that the soccer is a lot different than basketball, and the point differentials cannot exist within basketball.
Yeah, no, 100%. They got to get rid of the point differentials. Again, I suggested just make it more games so there's a way lower chance of having the same, winding up with the same record as another team. I think 4 games is way too few in the group stage. You got to make that 8, 10, or just make it the overall. Maybe just make it your overall record through the first 20 games. You just take the top 4 in the East, top 4 in the West, done, and you play them.
I mean, I think it should just strictly be based off wins, to be honest, because we don't.
Yeah, you can just do it based off.
We don't need the
point
differential BS.
Decide those 8 teams to go forward.
We need to win this game by 18 points. That just makes the shit so much harder. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's more complicated for the fans as well because they got so and so needs to win and score on over this amount of points, and this team's got to lose and score at least this, and it's just mind numbing.
Yeah,
I think at least the NBA got the 2 best teams in the finals. I think Indiana was probably the best team in the East, and the Lakers were probably the best team in the West throughout the playing tournament. And I think the best team overall won. I mean, the Lakers. Pretty much their only close game, I think, and Earl, you can tell me if I'm wrong, their only close game through all 7 games, or I guess all 6 games before the finals, was that Phoenix game. But other than that, they convincingly handled all their games in the group stage. They blew out New Orleans, and then, they kind of comfortably took care of Indiana, whereas Indiana had a lot of nail biters. They had to make late comebacks against the Boston and Milwaukee. So I feel like the Lakers probably had the slight edge just in terms of overall performance, and they walked away with the championship. So it's good for them. I think the best team won. It's a great storyline. Obviously, whenever LeBron wins, it's great for the NBA. Whenever the Lakers win, it's great for the NBA. So it's nice that he's on the same team as the Lakers. So NBA got what they wanted with this. But they also got a nice storyline with the Pacers. That's something they wanted with this. It's kind of that NCAA feel.
Put them on the map.
Can win. Any small market team can show up and just put them on the map. This is what they wanted. They wanted the big, heavy, well-known favorites versus the small underdog team. That was a storybook final for them, and it birthed the star in Tyrese Halliburton. Now everyone knows who he is, and these Pacers players got national TV games, and it was great. So I think the NBA definitely accomplished what they wanted with this.
Okay, so you brought up the Pelicans, and they looked not good at all. They didn't look like they belonged to be there, and I want to get up in the camera and say this. Yo, Zion, you listening? Lose some weight, bro. Lose some fucking weight. You're moving like a brick out there. I gotta lose some weight myself. I'm not perfect, but you're moving like a brick. You're a professional basketball player. You gotta lose 20 pounds, man. I'm sorry. You can't be doing that. In the NBA, where they're literally telling you, bro, please lose weight. Lo, please lose weight. Lo, please lose weight. And he's ignoring them. I'm sorry. Bro, you're moving like a brick. There's a reason they sat you. Because you don't want to lose weight. And now he's probably going to get sat again. Watch.
I think it's a tough situation, man. Because, looking at this season, Zion has been having a dominant season. And look at, the condition he's in right now. So, I think what Zion has to realize is most of these people who are saying these different things to him, they want the best for him. I've seen the very best version of Zion. I watched him since high school. I seen how athletic he was. His head was high above the rim. His head goes high now, but not nearly as high as it was high school, Duke days. And those were just, a couple years ago. So, for us in the NBA world, I think Zion has to understand, people just want... we're just looking out for his best interest. We know he can be a great player if he can stay healthy, if he can stay in shape. And I know there's a lot of people who take a little bit too far with all the crazy shaming and stuff like that, which I get. It's social media is going to be social media, but at the same time, I think it's just up to Zion. He has to make that choice mentally. I'm not saying it's hard or easy because it depends on the type of person. But once he makes that decision for himself and decides, hey, let me try to figure out the ways that I can put myself in the best position to stay healthy and just continue to develop as a player, I think he has the potential to be a great. So he just has to lock in. He has to get the people in his camp together. Just need to rebuild his camp. And I think that's the best course for him. So I'm wishing all the luck to Zion. But that version of Zion we've seen versus the Lakers, by far, is not the product that I'm 99% sure that's not the product he wants to put out there for himself, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think... Zion can get away with a lot because he is so incredibly naturally gifted and big and strong. Just inherently, it doesn't matter if how much he weighs, he can still go put up 20 to 25 on most teams effortlessly. But he ran into a really bad matchup in the Lakers because the Lakers are one of the few teams in the NBA that still invests in height. and they are a big, strong, physical team. And, it's different going out and scoring on, like, the average NBA team in the paint versus trying to score on AD and Bron, and whoever. I'll be honest, like, the Lakers just have height at every position, basically. They are not a small team. So I think it was a really, really bad matchup for Zion, and it kind of exposed the fact that he could be in better shape, 100%. So, like you said, Earl, we've seen a better Zion. We know how great he can be. The fact that he is able to do this, even in the shape he's in, I think speaks to how incredibly talented he is as a player, and that he still has a lot of room to grow. I think he might just have to take the Jokic arc, where Jokic, not that he was overweight, but he definitely lost some weight, over like 3 or 4 years, and it made him a better player. I mean, he probably isn't winning these MVPs without that. He's probably still an all-star, still a very good player, but when you want to be the best of the best, you've got to like check all the boxes, and inherently his conditioning will limit his ceiling if he does not get that under control. But that's ultimately up to him. You know what? He's perfectly within his right to just stay where he's at, just keep putting up 20 to 25 a night and collect those checks. You know what? It's his body. He can do, what he wants. But I think as NBA fans, we do all want to see Zion at his peak. And I would like to think that he also wants to see himself at the peak, and that hopefully he'll lock in, do what he's got to do, get himself in a position where he can just play the full, 35, 40-minute games, start jumping out the gym again. It'd be cool to see as a casual NBA fan.
Yeah, it would.
Thankfully, the Knicks only play the Pelicans twice a year, so we wouldn't have to deal with him that much. But it's definitely something that he could work on. And until he does, that's always going to be a cap on his ceiling, a ceiling that's already super duper high.
Yep. Yeah, I think you put it perfectly, man. Like, Zion is such a great player. Like, just natural, like you said, his natural ability to play the game and be dominant in the paint, it's going to get him far, but we know he can be a lot better of a player. Like, imagine if Zion had the energy and stamina to play, 38, 40-plus minutes a game. Like, just naturally. Like Chuck said, I think I was watching just one of the TNT shows. Chuck said there's no way in the world Zion shouldn't be averaging a double-double. Like, with his athleticism, jumping off rebounds, he should be a guy who is aggressive on the glass. He has the vertical to do it, and he's just not doing it. And I think a lot of that has to do with fatigue. He kind of has to pace himself. If he's scoring here, he can't be jumping for every single rebound there and play defense on top of that. Like, Zion, his potential is sky high. All he needs is just the right people around him, the right motivation. He just has to stay focused. Like, he's so young into his career, and I hate to say it, bro, like, playing basketball with a whole lot of weight, it adds up, man. I'm a hefty fella myself, so playing basketball for long periods of time
fucks up your ankles, bro. Fucks up your ankles.
Yeah. So I can't imagine Zion playing 30 plus minutes like weekly, like four times a week at times. So I know that has to hurt your body. So I think he just has to. He has to. And another person too, Charles Barkley. I forget who his mentor was. I can't. Oh, I think it was.
No, it was one of his teammates. It was one of his teammates for sure.
Teammates, but he talked about how he challenged him to just lose weight and get into game shape. And he told him if he did that, he'll be a better player.
Stand by.
Yeah.
Moses Malone.
Yeah, Moses Malone. Yep, perfect. Yep. And he challenged him to do that.
I didn't come up with that. I Googled it, to be fair.
Oh, no, that's still, either way, still, yeah. But he challenged him every single week to do that and get healthy, and he said that saved his career. So Zion needs somebody in that camp who he respects and listen to.
So I have an article from Fox News saying that the Basketball Hall of Famer talked about what inspired him to drop about 60 pounds. Quote unquote, "My doctor told me I was fat, so I'm down 60 pounds," Barkley said.
Yeah.
Was it really Malone though? Because where did you find that?
I have something from CBS Sports that says when he entered the NBA at like 300 some odd pounds, it was Malone who helped mentor him and kind of move him along. I think he did more than just help him lose weight, but when he entered the NBA as an overweight rookie with the 76ers, Malone mentored Barkley and helped put him on the path to become one of the greatest forwards ever to play in the league.
The one without the championship,
losing weight,
makes
but
sense.
I'm sure that was part of it.
Because I remember
Malone's the greatest offensive rebounder to ever pick up a basketball, so good guy to listen to.
Yeah, because I remember him talking about that too. He's like specifically talking about like that story. So yeah, that definitely checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the article. My bad. Charles Barkley and.
I mean, you're good. Like, the point of the matter here is that, like, Zion.
Yeah. Okay, I got that.
Someone will get through to him.
I got the article from ESPN here. How Moses Malone mentored a young Charles Barkley. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Right. So
love the articles.
Hopefully, that's something that we can see in the near future. Like you said, Omar, the Pelicans looked like they didn't. You say the Pelicans looked
dog
like
shit.
Back there. You could also
dog shit. They looked dog shit. That's what they did. They looked bad.
They looked better than the Knicks.
The Knicks did not look much better when we played Milwaukee.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, we didn't. And you know what's crazy? Julius Randle scored 41 that game. So why the fuck are we losing by 20? Doesn't make sense.
He scored 41.
Yeah, he did.
Reeves, quickly.
All right. Dude, I'm not even joking. Do you not remember that? In the first quarter, he went 8 for 8, and he was.
I do.
He shot perfect. He shot perfect from. Yeah.
Yeah, he shot 40 something that game. I remember because he was the only one doing something.
41.
And he was perfect from the field in the first quarter.
That's the game I locked in. So.
Yeah, he was perfect from the field. That's why. Making every shot for Earl's fantasy team.
Much in the second half. I just didn't think he got that much in the second half, but he did.
Yeah.
He did.
Man, I really wanted the Knicks to win.
Though, minus 18 in the Boston game.
I really wanted the Knicks to win. I really wanted the Knicks to at least go to the semifinals to see.
But you made it. That's all that matters.
See, if we got to the finals and saw Indiana, do you guys think we would have beat Indiana?
No.
I think
I'm playing. It would have been a good game.
I think because of Indiana's lack of defense, and I think our defense with how strong it is could have tried to put a stop on them. I mean, they're not. I think it would have been close. I mean, I don't think the Pacers are an unbeatable team. I think it's a case of a team with a very good offense and a poor defense going against a very good defense and a poor offense. So I think it would have been close one way or the other. Both teams are limited on one side of the ball. But I think, it would have been a battle when they have the ball and we're on defense. You would have seen some
that's my dog.
both ways, and then probably some mediocre basketball on the other side of the court because they can't stop anything. We can't score on anyone. So that would have been fun. But I definitely think we had a better shot of beating them than Milwaukee or Boston, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, that was my dog. Whoever heard somebody running on top of me there. That was my dog. He was like, and he was just and I just hear him all over the house. Jesus. That's partially my fault.
Omar, can you do sound effects professionally?
Maybe you should do the sound effects.
We need Omar sound effects.
Y'all need me in Star Wars.
Really?
Respectfully, I would probably never watch again.
Respectfully, I've never truly watched Star Wars.
Same. I've watched 5 minutes of the first. Or is it the first movie? I don't know because it's 85 prequels. So one of the first, maybe.
You don't like Star Wars either, Max? That's something I face a lot of backlash for. From friends. How the fuck do you not like Star Wars? It's like me asking people, how the fuck do you not like One Piece? It doesn't make it's not a true argument. You know nothing about it. Yeah, Max knows nothing about anime. Go hate him. Go hate on him in the comments.
Give me just give me what's it called? Give me SpongeBob. SpongeBob clears any day of the week. Objectively. I know you watched Attack on Titan, right? You watched Attack on Titan, you said. It's pretty good. No.
No, you didn't? You just know about it?
No, I just know of it.
Know of it?
I've heard of it. I don't know anything about it other than what you've mentioned.
All right. Let's get back to basketball. Adam Silver addressed the Josh Giddey situation, and he said that he didn't want to kind of take a step forward and do anything just yet because he said when law enforcement takes its place, they take a back seat. Now, with the recent history of the NBA and him also mentioning in that quote that we've seen countless amount of times we've suspended people off of allegations alone. What do you guys think of his decision making here?
Body at best. I think there's nothing wrong with suspending a player. While he says the NBA takes a back seat, I think that should entail suspending a player until the law enforcement comes to a decision, and then you can lift the suspension or make it into a ban. I don't see what the problem with that necessarily is. I don't think having a temporary suspension while the justice system does its thing is necessarily a bad thing. I think that's what it should be. You should suspend the player until you know everything.
How much you want to bet?
If you can just lift the suspension, just go from there.
How much you want to bet they're protecting him right now?
I mean,
it's clear that they're protecting him.
I don't know if I want to bet that, but I would be very disappointed that things.
I think they are
true, and they were doing that.
So,
but I said this: Adam Silver, anything to do with the actual game of basketball, he's pretty much been cooking for the last couple of years.
Yes,
Playing tournament has been a W. In-season tournament, I think we can put in the W column. I think going back to East versus West probably was the best thing to do. This little draft thing is literally, it's kind of boring now. I'm not going to lie to you.
They got to change that shit every year, in my opinion. They got to change the matchups every year.
They could.
They got to.
But my opinion on the situation is he's terrible at acknowledging like real world problems that connect to NBA players. He's terrible at it. Either he doesn't acknowledge it at all, or he gives us these half quotes on like just random interviews where he's forced to give an answer because people are going to ask these questions. And I agree with Max. I don't think it's necessarily a problem to suspend somebody while the police do the work, while they're building the case or trying to figure out what's happening. I don't know if we should just give people the benefit of the doubt, like on the court. Like I think it's just best we stay neutral and just put them on break. Like Max said, once it's over, you figure out, hey, you didn't really do it. Just a miscommunication on whose part. You can go back to playing basketball. But until then, I just don't know if you should reap the benefits of like being a NBA player and getting a lucrative contract, getting paid hundreds of millions for every single game. If you have this big kind of situation just looming in the air, and we just don't have a lot of information about it, in my opinion. So I think that Adam Silver once again is taking kind of the easy, neutral way out. And as our commissioner, like addressing these type of problems has been something he struggles with. Like he cares so much about the NBA brand that he doesn't really focus on like the people like who are in the league and how that affects other people around the world. So I think he has to switch that business mindset off at time and think like a human being and a person, respectfully. Like it's cool to make money. He's making millions. Like in-season tournament, wonderful. He pretty much started.
He did that. He did that.
A basketball team in Vegas. It's gonna happen. It's probably gonna be Brian who owns the team. You see everybody seeing him make the joke about it.
2 years.
But yeah.
2 years. There will be a team in Vegas. There will be a team in Seattle. Give it 2 years.
True. Yeah, but that's kind of my thoughts on it. I just think Silver does a good job of addressing things without solving problems, respectfully.
Yeah. I will say the one thing that I think could be problematic with this, like the temporary suspension, that there could be situations where if all it takes are allegations to get a player suspended, it would not surprise me if there's a situation where you're playing somebody in the playoffs, you don't really want to face them. In the modern age of social media, it's so easy to spread rumors that are just factually not true. And you would just hate to see a situation where you get a superstar suspended for a playoff series just off of some completely made up allegations, and like you take something out of context and like blow it out of proportions, and then based on precedent, Adam Silver's got to suspend Giannis or Jokic or Braun for a playoff series until it comes to light that okay, this was just all complete nonsense. So it's like that is the one thing that I think this is why the league tries not to suspend players on allegations, because it sets a dangerous precedent to where you could just easily just get some random person just completely ruin like an NBA playoff series, or like a player's like the most important stretch of a player's career solely based off of they don't want to see them play. Like you would like to think that people wouldn't do that, but there are some absolute weirdos out there that would 100% love to get LeBron suspended for a finals if they could. So
it would help their parlays.
It's a tough situation there.
It'll help their parlays.
Gambling is weak-minded.
Yeah, really.
You shouldn't gamble. It's bad for you.
I could see it. People are dumb enough to do whatever it takes. If they need their money and they need,
I'm watching you, Earl.
Championship, they will 100% try and knock a superstar out of a series just based off some wild allegations.
So this is what also I saw a video the other day. Right? I saw the video of another day of somebody saying that, talking about the Josh Giddey allegations. He said that Josh Giddey 2 years ago. All this happened 2 years ago while he was 19. And in Newport, California, how you get into clubs is that you have to be 21. That's apparently the rule in Newport, California. So he was begging the question on why is Josh Giddey allowed in this club? Because he's 19 years old at this time. He can't be allowed in this club. And he tried to use it as another point. I didn't even bother listening to the rest of the video because it was so obvious to me that somebody's going to do him a favor. And somebody's going to get him into that club regardless. It doesn't matter. When you're an NBA player, it doesn't make it right. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying. But am I wrong?
Like, I said this too last week. Like, as an NBA player, you just got to move smarter, bro. Like, if anybody's sniffing in high school and I'm in the NBA, not going there. Like, I was like, I know it's a lot of reports here and there, whatever, but, like, people were going back and just pulling up the Instagram page, like, and it was just like, you can tell, like, we're talking about, like, in-class pictures, like, oh, science class, boom. Oh. I think at one point her bio literally said sophomore. It's some stuff, bro. It's like, bro, like, you got to be smarter as a person. Like, just in general, bro. Like, it's too much technology not to know somebody's real age, even if you met them, like, in a club, whatever, bro. It's so much. It reminds me of, like, I don't know if you guys seen that thing online, like, Aaron Gordon. He's talking about his worst dating experience, and then he said he looked at the girl's phone, and the last search was Aaron Gordon's net worth, and then right there he cut it off. Like, you just got to move smarter, bro. Like, you got to look.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. That's the way to move smart. He saw it.
I mean, come on, bro. One little search.
So funny.
To save himself. Potentially millions of dollars.
That is so funny, bro. That is hilarious, actually.
You talk about fumbling the bag. My goodness.
My goodness.
Should have used
off bag. Yeah, it's Hall of Fame bag fumble.
Yeah, bro.
Did not believe that.
Aaron Gordon's network. That's.
Yo, imagine they're at dinner and she's looking that shit up while he like went to the bathroom or some shit.
Probably did.
Bro, that's fucking crazy.
He's like faking looking at the menu, but she's got that phone pulled up with like his contract details, like, you know.
And you know what? It's so easy, and it's so easy because you could just like because you got the QR scan the menus now, so you could just go there, just go on your phone, look at that word.
He's probably like,
I don't like that. I don't like the menu QR.
Me neither, bro. I find that stupid. Yeah.
Exactly.
Scan this tiny code. Y'all can give me a nice laminated menu.
Like, yeah, please.
Like 100 years ago.
Like, I don't want to be on my phone.
Wi-Fi's not good enough for me to load it anyways.
I'm pretty sure one night of food sales should pay for a year's worth of menus. Like, come on, guys. Let's be serious.
Literally.
Don't gotta be like reprinted every day. I'm okay with some reused menus here. Like,
exactly.
I mean, in terms of like sustainability, sure, go for it if you want to go for that. But I mean, if you're an Italian restaurant and you're not doing things exactly by the book, just fucking give us a menu, man.
It's a drop. Okay, you want to play the sustainability bucket? You know, you could be like, oh, we save trees by not printing menu. Dog, you're like killing a bajillion trees the rest of the way of your business. Like
it's not
an entirely eco-friendly, sustainable business. Don't come at me with this. You know, like, oh, we saved 1 cent, or, you know, we saved one tree by not printing the menu, when you're like putting thousands of dollars like toxic fumes out there and like sending your garbage off to landfills. And like just killing the atmosphere. Like, don't get on me with
like
that.
we're killing the ozone layer currently. Like, we're still doing it. Like,
we are. So don't act like your QR codes are saving the ozone layer.
That's why I will be switching to electric. When I buy my next car, I'm getting a Cybertruck.
Okay.
In 25 when GTA comes out.
When GTA comes out, that's when you're getting it. You're getting it.
No, I mean, that's when it comes out, like the regular model. So I'm for sure getting that. It's gonna be 2025.
That might cost. Honestly, or that might cost less than GTA 6.
Honestly, GTA. Side note, I know it doesn't have anything to do with basketball, but 2025, we all got, bro. It's the year, bro. That's the year we get our in-house studio.
Oh,
the Cybertrucks. We get every single movie you ever dreamed about comes out in 2025, which is crazy. GTA 6 comes out in 2025. It almost feels unreal.
Is Spider-Verse 25? Is the third Spider-Verse 25? Or is that 26?
Yep, 2025 for that. I think the new Avengers movie is 2025. It's crazy stuff.
Marvel finna be back on top after that. They've been lacking.
There's recently. A new Toy Story too in 2025.
Is that a thing? I've like seen like yays and nays about it. Are they really doing a 5?
I don't know if it's real, but I'm gonna hop on this.
Fortnite got the NBA collab though.
Bro, Minecraft the movie comes out in 2025.
Minecraft.
Live
is
action.
No shot. That's a
live action.
I promise. Live
I'm
action.
fact checking you right now.
Look,
Yeah.
Minecraft live action 2025.
That's
Pull it up.
crazy.
Okay,
2025 is also the year the Knicks are going to win the championship.
So, Max,
that'll be a great year
just to get back into basketball, Max, we talked about this privately. So last week when the Celtics played the Knicks, Dante DiVincenzo started in place of Quentin Grimes. I was stating that Grimes' defensive rating and DiVincenzo's defensive rating were relatively the same. So if you put DiVincenzo in the starting lineup, maybe it translates to be just as good as Quentin's. So now that we saw this little experiment over the one game, what do you think? I mean, I feel like this is a bad game to tell personally because.
No, I think it was a great game. And first of all, I just want to say, for the record, I did agree with you that Grimes should be coming off the bench. Where we disagreed was you were saying it was more like a Grimes skill issue. Like it's not.
It definitely isn't.
Not bringing anything to the start.
And he proved me wrong that night too when he shot 5 for 10.
Exactly, and that was my whole point, was that Grimes needs to come off the bench, not because it's his fault. It's because the starters will not pass to him. And if you're gonna play with Randall and Brunson and Barrett, you have to just be a player who is willing to take those shots when you get the ball. You have to be willing to actually take shots. And DiVincenzo is. Not to mention the fact that he's a Villanova guy, so Brunson's gonna always make sure he's getting the ball and he's getting his touches and is happy. Randall's going to make sure that he's happy. For whatever reason, they just have a higher level of respect for DiVincenzo than Grimes, even though they've been playing with Grimes for way longer. So Grimes coming off the second unit, he's not scared to take shots when he's not scared of Randall. He doesn't have to pass the ball to RJ and Jalen all the time. You saw he was so aggressive with the second unit, and it was so lovely to see. You saw him taking contested pull-up threes. No way he's taking that with the starters. He did it. He got a contact layup. He drove to the basket and made a contact layup. I genuinely think that was his first contact layup of the entire season.
Yeah, it definitely was. It definitely was.
No, it was. It 100% was. He has not gone to the basket at all this season. He has been relegated to a spot-up shooter in the corner occasionally. He actually got to the basket this game, which was awesome to see. He was cutting off the ball, getting passes from Hartenstein and quickly, and Hartenstein in the post.
By the way, he played amazing. 16 rebounds.
He could put that out there. Yeah, he actually could play basketball. Like, I'm sure he loved it. And I hope this wasn't just a one-game wonder because he complained about his shots and it's just going to regress to the mean in the next game. Part of me thinks that is what's going to happen. He'll just go back to shooting twice. But I really hope that this is a sign to come because for fit purposes, DiVincenzo fits way better with the starters. Grimes can actually play the game of basketball off the bench. He doesn't have to play scared. He fits in great with the second unit. The only problem with it is that he's not going to be out there to guard the other team's best player as much. So I think we did see in that game, thankfully, the Celtics did play Tatum and Brown a good bit when Grimes was out there, so we got to match up with those guys, which was good to see. But when you're with the second unit, you're probably not going to be playing the opposing team's best guard most of the time. So we are going to lose out on that, and it's going to fall on DiVincenzo's shoulders. Like, I think he's a good defender. I don't think he's as good as Grimes or Josh Hart. So as the primary defender, the primary wing defender in that starting lineup, he's going to have to step up big time and really match up against some of the league's best players, which, again, I think that's something Grimes has shown he can do. But for the overall benefit of the team, it's better if he can come off the bench and actually get some shots up, play his role. DiVincenzo can still start. He's going to get his threes. He's going to play well with the starters. Yeah. So I think it was a big W. I hate that it's come to this. In an ideal world, Julius Randle just stops being a selfish NBA player and just learns to pass out of double teams. Yeah. And actually gets Grimes open looks. But we all know that's not going to happen. So
bro, there's been so many points where You know how Julius Randle takes this like step back shot when he's starting to be like double teamed or something, and it starts at like the key.
He just fades over two for no reason.
And he gets cut, and then he goes for the shot, and then somebody right behind him just blocks him. Almost every single time that happens. Every single time.
There's that, and then there's also when they send a double team at him, and he forgets that he can
pass the ball. Like he forgets. But
he forgets that he can turn his head left and he can turn his head right. Like, either he has the worst neck on the planet and like it's so stiff, or he just doesn't think to look both ways. Because teams are doing this now. Like, it's a thing. When teams play Randall, they start with one-on-one coverage. He starts backing him down. He takes 85 seconds to get to his spot, and then they just send somebody off the wing, and they just knock the ball away. It happens twice to 3 times a game. Every single game now. It's 100%. Not just the Celtics thing. This is every game. And Randall he falls for it every time, and it's so infuriating. We can see it coming. We can see it coming before it even happens, but it just happens.
It happened at least 5 times in that Miami series, and it pissed me off.
5 times a game. 5 times a game.
Yeah.
It was atrocious.
It was bad. It was bad. So,
and again, it's not like it was just Miami. It's every team.
It is every team. It is every team.
If you watch the Knicks versus Celtics game, and you do not want Julius Randle traded, or if you don't want Julius Randle traded after that game, I think you're a Knicks fan casual. I will state that. And that's not a shot at you, Omar, necessarily. That's a shot at anyone.
I mean, I don't want...
That game, you saw Randle play that way, you don't want him off this team, I don't know what to tell you.
Like, no, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't think Randle is, like, the best player out there, but at the same time, I think he just fits this team really well, unfortunately.
Wow. What team he doesn't fit any team well. He's way too selfish and turnover happy.
Okay, well, wait. Before I give him my next question, I want to hear Earl's take on this.
Go ahead,
Earl. Yeah. Knicks talk just overwhelmed me for a second.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Can you repeat the question at the beginning? Because I feel like we went into a
little bit of a rabbit hole.
It's a bit of a rabbit hole, but the question is, Julius Randle is undeniably a very talented player, and I will admit that he is very, very talented. Like you can't put up the counting stats that he does without being talented, 100%.
Yeah.
But is the way he plays, his turnovers, his selfish brand of play, his lack of defensive intensity, his distractions off the court with the refs and his teammates, does that make him a net negative? And would he be addition by subtraction for the Knicks?
I also have to add,
would they be getting better simply by not having him around?
I
think they would.
I also have to add really quickly. My bad, Earl. I don't want to cut you off, bro. I'm so sorry. I just want to add something really, really fast. I am starting to see a little what you were saying with the shit that Randle does, like during the timeouts. Like I'm just starting to see that. Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just say this. I feel like Julius Randle, in order for Julius to be successful, he has to be the core of the whole system, and I don't think that can happen with Jalen Brunson. Just because Jalen Brunson, when I seen him play in person, like he's a guy who I would trust with the ball in his hand the whole game. Like he makes the right plays. He's a guy who can easily get off to his three. Very fast release. He's a fast player. He can finish with contact. He has a good playmaking game, mid-range game. Like when you got that type of player who can pretty much score from anywhere on the floor, defense is very underrated as well. Like you want to play through that. And you can see at times where Julius Randle, he tries to be that playmaker at times when it benefits himself. But for the betterment of the team, man, I just think it should be built around Jalen Brunson. And if it's between Jalen Brunson and Julius, I'm choosing Jalen Brunson 10 times out of the week. Like, I have to. Like, he's such a great player. So I think if you can trade Julius Randle and get a player who fits Brunson better, I would do it. Honestly, I don't think it would hurt. But if it's like you're trading for a player who needs kind of work, or it won't necessarily win you guys, like, it won't help you guys in the long run, then I say you probably just have to maybe just ride out the contract, which sounds crazy. But
he has like 2 years left, right?
Yeah, like 2, right?
Yeah. No.
Or 1.
I think. Didn't his extension just kick in last year? I'll check that. Keep going.
I'm going to do that now.
Yeah, but I think it's just you got to choose. Like, I don't know if they can coexist and win a championship. I could be completely wrong. But what I've seen right now, I don't know if they can coexist and be dominant together and win a championship. Like, not trying to play the comparison game, but look at guys like I'll use like guys like Tatum and Brown.
One more year. One more year. Oh,
one more.
No,
yeah.
2 more. It's this year and then 2 more. This is his second of a 4-year.
Oh, wait, he's 29. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, he's 29.
No, but I would say just look at duos, bro. Like, duos have to be able to work off each other. Tatum and Brown, they can work off each other. I even say now Luka and Kyrie have been doing a good job of working off each other. It was rocky at the start, but they figured out, there's one ball, but we can both be dominant. You got Bron and AD. When they play off each other, that's dominant basketball. But Julius Randle has to realize, like, hey, I'm not the only one in this duo who can cook. Like, you can play off ball. I think that's my biggest problem. He doesn't have an off ball game for real.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
100%, he does not.
I think that's his biggest problem. He likes to have the ball, dominate, go up on 4 people in the paint, which is cool if you make it. But if you miss, you look absolutely crazy.
You look absolutely stupid.
And he didn't used to play like that, man. When he was on the Lakers, he didn't play like that, man, with that young Lonzo, Brandon Ingram. Like, he didn't play like that. He played the flow of the game. Like, it was so much cleaner.
Because fucking Tom Thibodeau put it in his head that he was a number 1 on the squad.
Well, once you put that in your head, you can't go back.
Part of it. I think Thibs is a very big part of this because ultimately he's the coach.
It also leads into my next question.
You should not allow Randall to do the things he does. As a coach, This is literally your job to keep players' egos in checks, and he has done a terrible job of ego checking Randall. But I think where it all started was that people forget he played that 1 year in New Orleans. It was 2018, 2019. He played 1 year in New Orleans, and AD was out a lot that year. And that was the year where Randall kind of went from just like a guy, the guy. And you could say like, his points went up a ton, and that's what got him that big contract with the Knicks in the offseason. Was that one season with New Orleans. And I think that went to his head, and he got it in his head that he is the number one player. And again, Thibodeau has not ego-checked him at all, but I think the seeds for it were planted when he had that great year in New Orleans, and he realized what he can do, the insane stats he could put up if he just keeps playing selfish basketball. And then he got rewarded with a fat contract off it. And then he went to the Knicks and got even fatter.
He averaged
in his mind, it's justified.
In New Orleans. My bad. Go for it.
If you look at it, bro, what Julius Randle needs to do, he needs to do exactly what Aaron Gordon did. Aaron Gordon on the Magic, he was a guy who, for like 3 or 4 years straight, he was averaging like 28. I think at one point he was averaging like 30 plus on that team. Just putting up stats. He had the ball in his hand almost every possession. Go fact check it. I promise you guys. A couple years in Orlando, when he was that guy, he was putting up a crazy amount of points. But once he went to the Nuggets, he diminished his role. He played as a role player. He locked in on defense, and he was just like he played off of Jokic. Like, he played off ball. He wasn't like an on-ball dribble for every 2 seconds like he did in Orlando. He went, he locked in, he played his game. Or was he on the Magic? Yeah, it was the Magic.
Yeah, it was the Magic. It was the Magic.
Yeah.
Earl, I really hate to break this to you. His highest career points per game was 17.6.
Was it really?
Yeah.
He's never averaged more than 17. His highest year was 2017, 2018 Orlando, 17. I mean, he was still a good player, but 30 plus.
Way better numbers than that. My fault.
So this poses.
His numbers are actually pretty in line with his Orlando.
Wait, we were going.
I get your point.
I don't know why I did that. I'm sorry. I don't know why I did that. This leads into my next question, though, because we were leading into Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah.
So I was always a fan of kind of taking the Warriors route with things. So you know how Mark Jackson basically built the Warriors and set a culture inside of them before they went on to Steve Kerr?
Yeah.
I think it's now time to replace Tom Thibodeau. So then we can take that step. I think it's possible that we can take that step. It's just, again, we need a coach who's hard-nosed. And we need a coach who's not going to be afraid to, like, back down on Randall. The coach that comes to mind.
I mean, you make a good point, Omar, and I do agree. I just don't think that step is necessarily with Thibs. I think the step
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's a whole thing I'm saying, right? I think the step happens after Thibs.
It's always easier to just replace the coach, but I feel like, well, listen, I would fire Thibs solely off the fact that he leaves his players in at the end of the game, and he almost got Brunson hurt for a long time. Thankfully, it doesn't look bad, but I think that's a fireable offense. Every coach does it, but I personally hate it. Pull your starters. It's so easy to get hurt in the NBA. I mean, can you imagine if that Brunson injury is like a high ankle sprain and he's out 4 to 6 weeks? I would fire him based on that. Like, that's a fireable offense in my mind.
Yeah.
I'm probably in the minority there, but it's just dumb as hell. But as much as I do think Thibs has his flaws, and I think that's his biggest flaw as a coach, I think the bigger problem here is with Randall. I think we would take a bigger step trading Randall, and I think that would do more for the culture of this team. Like you said, Omar, like setting a culture and like a style of play. I think that would do more than trading Thibs, because I can't deny his defensive brilliance. I mean, the Knicks, when I was growing up, were always terrible, bottom of the league defensive team. And granted, they didn't really have any good defenders, but
now we're number 2.
Defense.
Now we're number 2.
So,
yeah.
What?
Now we're number 2 is what I'm saying.
Now we're number 2. And since Thibs has come in, this is his, I think, 4th year as the coach. Even that first year as a coach, we were great. We have been great defensively every single year.
Obviously,
even the years where, the year where we weren't that great and we missed the playoffs, we were still up there in defense, and I think that speaks volumes. Like,
100%.
The clear before and after of his coaching tenure, he's by far the best Knicks coach that we've had in the last decade. So I think based on that alone, I think that we should keep him around. I think his defense does bring merit. Like I said, I think if you can trade Randall, I think that'll go a much longer way. I think he commands tension in that locker room, if anything, more so than Thibs. Players do not want to mess with Randle. They would sooner mess with Thibs than they would take shots away from Julius Randle. And maybe I'm wilding for saying that, but that's my take.
I think I'm gonna be cooking when I say this. The coach to replace Tom Thibodeau is an analyst for CBS Sports, a former coach of the Villanova Wildcats, Jay Wright.
That would be hilarious. Just for the Villanova memes, that would be hilarious. I have no clue how good Jay Wright is as a coach. I can't speak for him at all. That would just be fun.
He won 2 national titles as a Wildcat, as did Jalen Brunson, and spent the 2022 and 2023 season as a college basketball analyst for CBS Sports. I think the Knicks
worse hires. The Knicks have made worse.
I think
hires.
So
two worse Knicks hires.
So don't get me wrong. So I want us to be able to keep our defensive culture in mind. With that being said, do we promote Tom Thibodeau and give him a front office job and then hire Jay Wright as the coach? Or do we keep him on the coaching staff? Or do we put Jay Wright on the bench with Tom Thibodeau?
I don't think Thibs does not strike me as a very good front office guy. He's notorious for not being able to manage players very well and manage personalities, and I think that's kind of that's what you need in the front office. You need to be able to understand people more so. What Thibs excels at is the X's and the O's and the nuance and the small things of basketball, which is why he's such a good coach, is because he understands the game on a fundamental level. He doesn't always understand his players necessarily or how to get the best out of his players, but he knows how to play good basketball. He knows what good basketball, like in a nutshell, looks like. So that's why I think he'd be better off as a coach. If we wanted to bring in Jay Wright as an assistant coach, I'd be all for that. A guy with his pedigree certainly, I think, is qualified to at least be an assistant coach.
100%.
We've got 85,000 assistant coaches anyways. Like, it's certainly not going to hurt.
I think it's imminent.
It just would feel wrong to me giving Thibs the boot when his arrival helped turn this team around, and his impact is so palpable. Like, there's not that many coaches in the NBA.
But that's what they did with.
See their impact. So
but that's what the Warriors.
It is with Thibodeau.
That's what the Warriors did with Mark Jackson, and then they hired Steve Kerr, and then ended up winning championships after that.
It was. I mean, listen, it was. But and I give Mark Jackson a lot of credit for setting, like you said, he set the foundation.
He set the foundation and he built the team. If the team can remember Thibodeau and the team can remember the defensive presence that they had and still have a different coach, man, we would have somebody who understands his players. We would have somebody who's not afraid to back on Julius Randle. And we
don't know that. We don't know that. We have nothing to say.
Bro, if you're a college coach, I think a basic fundamental of what you need to do on your team is understand your players on a college level.
I mean, you would say that in the pro level too, but there's some coaches that don't as well.
I wouldn't say that on the pro level. I wouldn't say that on pro level
because these are grown men now.
Yeah, exactly. He's used to dealing with, it's different when he's, 18, 19-year-old walk-on free agents versus, 6'9", 280 Julius Randle on a $100+ million contract. It's
okay.
Like, who are you?
But then Jalen Brunson. Okay, so then Jay Wright has backing from all of these players, because I just feel like it could be a seamless fit. I feel like the respect is already there with most of the team. DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, and Jalen Brunson. I feel like there's already much respect there. I feel like Quickly can buy in quick. But yeah, I know that was. I think Quickly can buy in quick.
Like this, I see where you're coming from with this. Like, I just think that I'm not going to say that it wouldn't be a net positive. This is what you're suggesting. I just think the bigger net positive would be getting rid of Randle. I think that's the core of the problem. Like swapping out Thibs for any coach, including Jay Wright, would kind of just be putting lipstick on a pig. Like, you're not actually changing the problem here. Like, as long as Randle is there. What, have you guys never heard of this phrase?
No, we did, but that's an awesome phrase.
Yeah, it's like you're not, like, the problem will always be there with Randle. Until you get rid of the pig, like, you can put as much lipstick and makeup on it as you want, it's still a pig. So like, and I'm not saying Randall's a thing. I'm not trying to make that like messed up.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
And that is getting
The
clipped.
root of the problem will always be Julius Randle.
And
until he
action.
changes, but we all know he's not changing. So
And scene. We got you clipped, and
Clipped
I'm adding Julius Randle on Twitter.
he's gonna, oh gosh, he's gonna
hunt you down, bro.
He's gonna tweet
He's
me
gonna
a
hunt you
thumbs
down. He's gonna hunt you down.
He's gonna reply with a thumbs down.
Man, I gotta say in the beginning of the season, and you guys can count for this, I wasn't a huge fan of the Randall slander because what I saw from him was he wasn't taking stupid shots. He wasn't in the beginning of the season, right? In the beginning of the season, maybe the first 2 or 3 games. He wasn't taking stupid shots. He was passing the ball more frequently. And he wasn't taking threes, right? He wasn't taking threes.
Sure.
He hit 1 3, and I believe it was game 3 of the season. He hit 1 3, and that was the game where he was like, okay, wait, maybe I could still shoot. He like gained that confidence back from just that game. Like that 1 3, he gained his confidence. And he's pretty nice from 3-point range, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, I've never doubted his talent. The
Over
guy is very
50%.
talented.
Over 50%. It's kind of crazy.
It's all up here with Randall. It's all
Shooting
up
over
here.
50 from 3 this year?
That's the problem.
I'm sorry?
He's shooting over from 50 from 3 this year?
I think so because he's not missing much. He's not missing much from 3.
If anything, his 3-point game is the best aspect of his game.
Yeah.
If anything, because at least he's not like going down into the paint, throwing elbows, and committing offensive fouls. There was a play in this Boston game. I know this is getting like very niche and like Nick, centric and whatever, but there was this one game in the one play in the Boston game where it's like a 4-on-3 or a 4-on-2 fast break. Randall's got it going. He's kind of like going down the wing, like he's a little bit outside the paint. He's driving to the basket, and RJ is just cutting straight down the middle of the lane, hands straight up in the air, could not be more wide open. It is the simplest pass to a dunk ever. And Randall looks him off. He tries to go to the basket, and he gets called for a charge.
Who are you talking about? RJ Barrett?
Julius Randle nutshell experience ever. If you ever wanted to know why I do not like Julius
Randle, I was wrong. I was wrong. He's shooting 30.
Yeah.
He's shooting 30%. I'm gonna look at. You know what? That was StatMuse. Let me just double check on ESPN because we already know how I feel about that.
It's 30%.
It's 30%.
Yeah, it's 30.
Yeah.
30% from 3, along with 3.3 turnovers a game. That cannot
3.3
be
a game
is a ridiculous number.
Not bad. It could be like 15.
Bro, it could be 7.
For him, it feels like 15. Watching the games, it feels like 15 turnovers.
I look at because he loses the ball in key moments. That's why. Right? He loses the ball in close games, and he gets nervous. Yeah.
He takes his frustration out on the refs. And there are so many plays where he loses the ball, and instead of getting back on defense, he's just looking at the refs waiting for a call, and he just doesn't come back.
Bro, there was... Oh, my God.
Exactly.
I
would love... Yeah. And we can like wrap the episode up on this, and you guys can let me know what you think in the comment section below if you've made it this far. But I would honestly love to see an anonymous poll amongst the Knicks players. Do you like playing with Julius Randle?
I think every single person would answer no.
They would never.
There would not be a single yes.
There would never.
I think there'd be one yes.
There would never be a poll like that created because even if it's anonymous, bro.
No, of course not.
Come on, the vibes.
Even if you get 11,
even if you get a single yes, Julius Randle's gonna be looking for those motherfuckers in the locker room. Like it's not gonna cause.
If one person says no, Randall's gonna figure out who it was. He's gonna go around to every single person and ask them who said no. So like,
all right, who doesn't want to play with me?
No, it would never happen.
That's what it was sounding.
Like, we're joking. I think he would do that. Like that is the kind of vibe I get from Randall, and I genuinely think that none of these players want playing with him. Like Grimes probably asked to come off the bench so he does not have to play with Randall.
Yeah.
He was a starting shooting guard in the NBA.
Thibs doesn't back down too often.
That's craziness.
He's a starting 2 guard in the NBA. He's taking 2 shots a game. This should naturally never happen.
Bro, why is everything
He takes more shots a game.
Well, let Earl say something. He has to say something in a minute. I feel
the Julius Randle hate is crazy. Like I get it, but he take it to another level.
Max takes it to another level. I feel like I'm grounded. I feel like I'm grounded with my Julius Randle takes.
I know how wild these sound, but I know how wild these sounds, yet I stick by them. I firmly believe this with Randall. Or else there's no reason they would be going on this long. This is not an isolated situation. I have 4 years of Randall basketball to fall back on for experience. This has been the experience since he's been a Knick. 100%.
He is
I know
unfortunately very right.
Yeah.
Smack my
I think
mic.
that's a good place to end it.
No, why are we ending into me smacking the mic? That's crazy.
Mid-March.
All right, guys. I hope you did.
Wow.
I hope you did enjoy this post-in-season tournament edition of the Beyond the Backboard podcast. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, comment down below. We'll be cranking out these episodes for you. Let us know your favorite moment from the in-season tournament. If you made it this far, comment your favorite moment. Could be a play, could be a player, could be a championship, could be AD and Bron killing the game. So we appreciate y'all. We're on Spotify as well if you want to check us out there. YouTube, TikTok, follow all the socials. We'll be back better than ever next week. I don't know what episode we're on, but we're going to keep chugging along.
Peace out.